The third edition of the College Football Playoff Rankings were released on Tuesday. Let's slice them up historically right here at the Voice of College Football. Please like the video and subscribe. Give me a call during our next call-in show, typically Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, as well as the Top 25 call-in show on Monday and our watch party for the playoff rankings on Tuesday. All right, the teams that are still in contention for a college football playoff spot include Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, the four top teams in the country, and the four undefeated teams, 1 through 4. Tennessee's at 5, LSU at 6, USC at 7. Then, on the fringe, because they do play for a conference championship, and they should have one loss when they get there, Clemson at number 9, UNC all the way down at number 13, has a poor resume, but still a conference championship in play with only one loss. How does that hold up historically? Let's go all the way back to the first college football playoff year of 2014. This is inconceivable to me that Mississippi State, of course, is the answer to a great trivia question. Who was the first number 1 team in the college football playoff rankings? They were actually still number 1 after 3 more rankings. So this is the third release in 2014. Mississippi State at 1, Oregon 2, Florida State 3, TCU 4. Two of those two teams, Oregon and Florida State, made the playoff. TCU did not, getting edged out by Ohio State, and TCU finished at 12-1. Mississippi State ended up losing 3 games that year, including a loss to Georgia Tech in the Orange Bowl. Bama at 5 reached the playoff. Arizona State at 6, as the Sun Devils were 9-1 at that point, but they went on to lose to Oregon State and also to Arizona and finished with a 10-3 record. Ohio State was the team that went all the way up from number 8 all the way up to number 4, grabbed that final spot after championship weekend, and of course eventually won the national championship. In 2015, your third rankings release included Clemson 1, Bama 2. They were the two teams that were in charge of college football that year and all the way to the championship game. Ohio State at number 3, later lost to Michigan State. That was a key loss that, of course, knocked them out of the Big Ten championship game and the playoff. They went on to win the Fiesta Bowl to finish 12-1. Notre Dame was the team that Ohio State defeated in said Fiesta Bowl. Notre Dame was number 4 at this point. Iowa at 5 almost reached the college football playoff, but they lost the Big Ten championship game in razor-close fashion to Michigan State. Oklahoma State at 6 played in the Sugar Bowl that season. Oklahoma at 7 vaulted into the playoff to play Clemson, and Michigan State was the lowest-ranked team that year in the third rankings release at number 9 to reach the playoffs as the Big Ten champion. In 2016, Bama number 1, Ohio State number 2 in this third release. Michigan at number 3, and of course the Buckeyes and the Wolverines battled into overtime with Ohio State winning. That knocked Michigan out. The Wolverines lost the Orange Bowl to Florida State to finish 10-3. Clemson at number 4, of course, they won the national championship. Louisville at number 5. Interesting here, but the Cardinals all the way at number 5. They lost the final 3 games of the season, even though Lamar Jackson won the Heisman Trophy. Washington was your final playoff team, and they were number 6 in the third rankings release. On to 2017, eventual national champion Bama was number 1. They fell from grace after losing the Iron Bowl, but still made the playoff as a non-conference or division winner. Clemson at number 2 was the eventual number 1 team in the playoffs, losing to Bama. Miami at number 3 won their first 10 games, then lost the final 3, including the Orange Bowl to a Wisconsin team. There you see at number 5, who would have gone to the college football playoff, but they lost the Big Ten championship game as an undefeated team to Ohio State. Oklahoma at 4 in the initial rankings made the playoffs and lost the Rose Bowl in the playoffs to Georgia. Georgia at 7, Auburn at 6. Of course, Auburn was the interesting scenario that season. Even as a 2-loss team, they would have made the playoff had they won the SEC championship game. And the other team that factored in that particular season was Ohio State, who finished at number 5. In 2018, Bama and Clemson were consensus 1-2, 2-1, back and forth all season. Bama finished number 1, but they lost to Clemson in the national championship game by 4 touchdowns. Notre Dame finished undefeated. They were number 3 in this rankings release. Michigan at 4. This team lost the last 2 games of the season to Ohio State and a bowl game to Florida. Georgia at number 5 In this rankings release, of course, they went on to the Sugar Bowl at 13-2, an SEC championship game loser to Bama. Oklahoma at number 6 was the lowest ranked team to finish in the Final Four. The 2019 season was dominated by 3 undefeated teams, LSU, Ohio State, Clemson. So those 3 at the top in the third rankings release finished 1, 2, and 3. Georgia at number 4 in this rankings release lost the SEC title game to LSU to miss the playoffs. Bama at 5 lost the Iron Bowl. They missed the playoffs. Oregon at number 6 lost a late season game to Arizona State, won the Pac-12 in the Rose Bowl. It was Oklahoma, number 9 during this rankings release, that shot all the way up to number 4 after winning the Big 12 championship, and they lost to LSU in the first round of the playoffs. In 2020, of course, this was the pandemic year. Very odd year, strange year. Not many non-conference games played. Notre Dame played in the ACC. Only 7 games played by Ohio State. Most teams played 9 or 10 games. Bama was number 1, Notre Dame 2, Clemson 3, Ohio State at number 4. What's interesting about this is that the strangest schedule produced the most uniform situation here, in which the top 4 teams right here all made it to the playoff. So nobody crashed the party. Texas A&M at number 5 had a legit shot and a legit argument. Florida lost the SEC championship game. They were number 6 in the third rankings release. And then last season, Georgia, Bama, 2 top teams in the nation all season. Georgia finished number 1, Bama 2. Oregon at number 3. They missed the playoffs after losing badly in the Pac-12 championship game and also lost the Alamo Bowl to Oklahoma. There you see Ohio State. They missed the playoffs after losing to Michigan. And it was Cincinnati at number 5, Michigan at 6 that won key games at the end of the season to vault into the Final Four and the playoffs. That's just a rundown of historically what that third rankings release looked like. The lowest ranked team in the third rankings release to reach the playoff was that Oklahoma team in 2019 at number 9. Also, you had Ohio State in 2014 at number 8. And as you see, it's typically about 2 teams in that third rankings release of the Final Four that ultimately reach the playoffs as one of the top 4 teams in college football. Your comments below, your recollections of those years gone by and what it could mean for these teams vying for a playoff spot. Of course, we're going to break it down each and every day right here at the Voice of College Football.